So think about this for a second. 90% of all the world's data was created in just the last 24 months.
Which is just staggering when you really internalize it.
Right. Like you have more information sitting on the phone in your pocket right now than, any CEO or intelligence director in human history.
Yeah, absolutely.
So why are the biggest, most heavily resourced companies and governments in the world constantly getting caught completely by surprise?
Well, I mean, that is sort of the defining paradox of modern leadership, isn't it? We assume that just because we have perfect visibility into the data, we naturally have this perfect understanding of the future.
Which we don't.
No, not at all. Those are two entirely different things.
And that disconnect is exactly what we are dissecting today on our deep dive. We're exploring this concept called the global intelligence gap.
Right.
It's basically this dangerous void between the overwhelming complexity of global risks and our actual ability to, understand, prioritize, and act on them.
Yeah, and it's getting wider.
Exactly. So today we are diving into source material, covering a framework known as Executive Predictive Risk Intelligence, or EPRI, and a specific platform called Sophurion Horizon. We really want to figure out why drowning in data is actually destroying decision advantage and, how you can stop reacting to the past and actually start anticipating the future.
To even begin closing that gap, we really have to fundamentally rethink our definition of risk itself. We are operating in what the sources call the age of convergence.
The age of convergence, right?
Yeah, because for the last century, organizations built their structures around these highly isolated risks. Like, you had a cybersecurity threat, so you just built an IT department to handle it.
And sense on paper.
Right. Or you had a physical infrastructure problem, so you hired a facilities management team.
Okay, let's unpack this, because the theory sounds great, but I want to ground this in reality. I look at traditional corporate org charts today, and they still look exactly like what you just described.
Oh, totally. They're very siloed.
Right. So how does this convergence actually break those neat little boxes in the real world? Like, it feels like playing 3D chess where someone just keeps changing the board on you.
That's a great way to put it. Think about the global semiconductor shortage from a few years ago.
Oh, yeah. That was a mess.
It was. But that didn't start as a supply chain crisis. It actually started in large part as a climate crisis.
Wait, really? A climate crisis?
Yeah. Taiwan experienced one of its absolute worst droughts in decades. And semiconductor manufacturing requires millions of gallons of ultra-pure water every single day just to clean the silicon wafers.
Oh, wow. So a lack of rain directly stops the tech factors.
Exactly. So this local climate event triggered a manufacturing halt, and that localized halt immediately cascaded into a global supply chain vulnerability.
Because suddenly nobody has chips.
Right. Automotive plants in Detroit and Germany literally couldn't finish building cars. They had to furlough thousands of workers.
Which transforms the supply chain issue into, major regional economic volatility.
Yes. And then that economic strain feeds straight into geopolitical tension as nations realize, hey, we are entirely dependent on a single island for our most critical technology.
Right. And if your company's risk model only told the sustainability team to look at the drought.
And the procurement team to just look at the shipping lanes, right?
Exactly. Nobody saw the actual crisis forming until the assembly lines just stopped dead.
Because the consequences of seeing these interconnected risks too late are these massive cascading disruptions that just destroy value and organizational resilience.
So what does this all mean for the tech we're already using? I know organizations that just spent $10–20 million on state-of-the-art risk management dashboards.
Oh, yeah, the really expensive software suites.
Right. So why aren't those multi-million-dollar systems catching the domino effect you just described?
Well, it comes down to what those tools are fundamentally designed to do. When we talk about traditional tools, like GRC, which is governance, risk, and compliance, or ESG, your environmental, social, and governance assessments, we're really talking about historical instruments. GRC is essentially just an organization's internal rule book and its audit trail.
And ESG is just a sustainability report card.
Exactly. They are brilliant at documenting what already happened.
Right, like they can tell you with incredible precision how many cyber intrusion attempts were blocked last Tuesday, or, exactly what your carbon footprint was last quarter.
But they are lagging indicators. They are entirely retrospective.
Having a dashboard with 100 blinking red and green lights doesn't tell you how to drive the car. It just tells you the engine is already on fire.
This raises an important question, though, right? Because we assume more data equals better decisions.
Right, which clearly isn't working.
Exactly. The source material outlines this really critical progression that most organizations just completely fail to complete. It starts with data. Data gets processed into information. Then information must be synthesized into intelligence. Intelligence generates foresight. Foresight drives a decision. And then finally, a decision results in action and resilience.
That's a long chain. Where does it break down?
The problem is that 99% of enterprise tools stop at step 2. They just give you more and more information.
Which is just actively creating paralysis for these leaders.
Totally. You have leaders suffering from unprecedented information overload. They're being asked to navigate the future using tools built exclusively to summarize the past.
So if looking backward is basically a waste of time for strategic planning, how do we actually look forward?
Well, this brings us to anticipatory intelligence.
Right. Early signal detection, horizon scanning.
Yeah.
And obviously the immediate answer everyone shouts right now when you mention that is artificial intelligence.
Naturally, it's the big buzzword.
But here's where it gets really interesting. People treat AI like a magic crystal ball.
Yeah.
But if the problem is that we already have too much data and it's paralyzing us, how is dumping an AI platform on top of that not going to make it worse? If you blindly trust an AI to make the final executive call, aren't you just flying blind at a faster speed?
That is the exact trap many organizations fall into. They buy into the hype without understanding the mechanics. AI is not a crystal ball.
Right.
But what it does offer is incredible, massive information synthesis, specifically cross-domain pattern detection that human analysts cannot perform at scale.
Okay, so break that mechanism down for me. What is actually happening under the hood there?
It's about processing massive amounts of unstructured data to find invisible threads. Let's go back to that supply chain example.
Go.
A human analyst cannot read every local newspaper, every social media feed, and every obscure weather report across the globe simultaneously. It's just not possible.
No, of course not.
But an AI system can use natural language processing to read, say, a regional news report in Mandarin about a localized port worker strike in Taiwan.
Oh, I see where this is going.
Right, and it instantly maps that specific port to the shipping manifests of your company's Tier 3 suppliers. It correlates that delay and calculates the exact day your assembly line in Texas is going to run out of parts.
Wow. So it's not just like slapping a weather map next to a stock chart and hoping someone spots a trend.
No, not at all.
It's actively drawing the line between a tiny whisper on the other side of the planet and your specific operational vulnerabilities.
Precisely. It catches the signal before it becomes a massive disruption. But, and this is where your skepticism earlier is entirely justified.
The flying blind part.
Yeah. AI has severe limitations. It has false confidence, it has bias, it can hallucinate, and it is deeply vulnerable to the quality of the data you feed it.
Right. Bad data in, bad predictions out.
Exactly. It understands statistical probability, but it doesn't understand context or geopolitical nuance the way a human does.
Which is why you can't just let it run the company.
Absolutely not. And that's why the sources are so emphatic about the absolute requirement for what they call a human-in-the-loop design.
Okay, human in the loop.
Right. AI is most valuable when it is augmenting human decision-making, not replacing it. The AI processes the noise, it does the heavy lifting of sifting through billions of data points.
But the human leader actually applies the context and the judgment.
Yes. And ultimately, the human bears the accountability for the action taken.
Okay, so thinking about these massive global AI systems that can monitor ports and track weather and parse supply chains, it brings up an incredibly interesting dynamic.
What's that?
Who is actually building these things? Because this need for anticipatory intelligence isn't just a corporate board issue anymore.
No, definitely not.
It's a critical matter of national security, right?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, we are looking at a total inversion of the historical innovation pipeline here.
What do you mean?
Well, for decades, the public sector, like governments, defense departments, the intelligence community, they developed the really advanced capabilities.
Like the internet.
Yeah.
Or GPS.
Exactly, and those technologies eventually trickled down to the commercial sector. But today, the commercial sector, which is fueled by massive private capital, is actually moving significantly faster than traditional bureaucratic
No,
institutions.
especially in areas like AI and digital data integration.
Right. So we have this rise in dual-use technologies. A resilience platform originally designed for, say, a massive global retailer to monitor its sneaker supply chain
Uh-huh.
turns out to be incredibly useful for a government agency trying to monitor vulnerabilities in national critical infrastructure.
That makes total sense. It's like building a high-speed rail network. The government lays the essential foundational tracks, but commercial innovators are the ones actually designing the hyperfast engines.
That's a really good analogy.
But where do we draw the line on who handles what? I mean, giving private tech companies that much insight into national security feels a bit risky.
It's a complex ecosystem, and there are definitely trade-offs. Commercial entities can iterate at digital speed. They can integrate global open source data and deploy these intuitive platforms in a matter of months.
Which a government bureaucracy just cannot do.
Exactly, they just can't move that fast. But government capabilities remain absolutely essential for sovereign decision-making.
Right, they have the ultimate authority.
Yeah, and the legal mandate to handle highly classified analysis and protect massive infrastructure from state-sponsored threats. Closing the global intelligence gap requires both.
Okay, so let's bring all this theory down to earth. We've talked about convergence, the AI double-edged sword, the public-private dynamic.
Yeah, let's get practical.
Because, I have to be honest, executive predictive risk intelligence, or EPRI, sounds an awful lot like another very expensive buzzword that a consultancy cooked up to sell software.
I don't blame you for thinking that.
So what does an integrated anticipatory intelligence environment actually look like in practice?
Well, the difference with EPRI is integration versus isolation. It's a new category that integrates climate, geopolitical, cyber, economic, and supply chain indicators all into a coherent decision support environment.
Okay, and the specific example the source material provides for this is the Sophurion Horizon platform.
Right.
What I actually appreciate about how this platform is described is that it keeps things realistic. It explicitly does not claim to predict the future with 100% certainty.
Because anyone selling you perfect prediction is basically selling you snake oil.
Exactly. It's not about an AI taking over the boardroom.
Mm-hmm.
It's more about the platform acting as a highly sophisticated global radar system.
Yes.
It spots the storm forming across the globe, but, the captain still has to steer the ship.
What's fascinating here is that this is the transition from the information economy to the intelligence economy.
Oh, I like that phrasing.
Yeah. The ultimate goal of platforms like Sophurion Horizon isn't perfect prediction. It's maximizing organizational resilience. It monitors emerging risks and offers executive recommendations to improve preparedness.
But implementing a system like that is not just a software installation, right? It has to be a mechanical nightmare internally.
Oh, it's incredibly difficult. The practical challenges are massive. To get this cross-domain intelligence, you have to get deeply siloed enterprise systems to actually talk to each other.
Right. You have to convince the vice president of supply chain to share their proprietary logistical data with a chief information security officer.
Exactly. You have to break down decades of territorial behavior within these corporate departments. The technology is often ready way before the organizational culture is.
Because in the age of convergence, you can't have your cyber team and your climate team refusing to share notes.
Right, because the risks don't care about your internal org chart.
Okay, wow. Let's briefly recap the journey we just took. We started by dismantling the old way of looking at risk, showing how the age of convergence means a cyber threat can instantly become a supply chain and economic crisis.
And we exposed the fundamental flaw in our current dashboards, too. They only tell us what happened yesterday, confusing simple visibility with actual understanding.
Right, the data versus intelligence gap. And then we unpack the mechanics of AI, how it can synthesize massive amounts of data to find those hidden patterns.
While acknowledging that human judgment remains the critical final filter, of course.
Yes, the human in the loop. We also explore the high-speed role of commercial innovation in national security. And finally, we broke down the EPRI framework and tools like Sophurion Horizon.
Showing that the goal isn't a magic 8-ball, but a highly tuned radar system.
Exactly. It all comes back to closing that dangerous void between the staggering volume of information we have and the strategic clarity we desperately need.
We have to stop managing historical data and start curating actionable foresight.
Which brings us right back to you, the listener. Whether you are running a massive multinational enterprise or prepping for a critical meeting, or honestly, just trying to navigate your own complex life and career.
The lesson applies everywhere.
It does.
Mm.
The lesson is the same. Stop drowning in data and start curating actionable intelligence.
Because the future really does belong to those who anticipate it, not just those who document it.
So I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over on your own today. Think about your own daily information diet.
Ah, that's a good one.
Think about that phone buzzing in your pocket that we talked about at the very beginning. Are you consuming data that only confirms what happened yesterday? Or are you actively seeking out the intelligence that will actually prepare you for tomorrow?
It's a tough question to answer, honestly.
It really is. If the world's most resource leaders are struggling with this, what blind spots are hiding in your own personal dashboards? Something to think about. Until next time.